know how we go. Never be gram, but I never let it stop my flow. Yes, no man curse. Water black time, watch it go. End in mind, future sight. We vibrate in house. So much things I wanna see. Who's that calling my phone? Jump like it not come easy. Starting with believing. So when you see it, I'm a young thing to my celebrating life.
Massive tune right here coming down from Faith Gallo, the Black Girl Luxury. Like I said, as we kick you off inside another week with the compliments of our friends at the NTI, it's all about midweek mindset. Sluggy Dan, of course, is in studio. What's going on, bro?
Bang, 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 bang. We outside. I am here. NTI.org.bb. NTI.org.bb. Big ups to everyone locked on, plugged into the nation's #1 station, not 2, not 3, not 4, according to LeBron. #1. Numero uno, the Jordans of radio stations. 95.3 FM with my brethren, Scott LaRock. That we're talking about. Remember, it's over 5,000 free courses. Not 200, not 300, not even 500, Scott. Not even 1,000. Not even 2,000.
Not even 3,000.
Nah, not even 4,000. Not even 4,999. I'm speaking to you, Donna. Because you're in here Italian. You're listening to me now?
Yes, sir.
We have over 5,000 free courses. And these courses ain't just courses that come from Scott LaRock and I or Gabby.
Nobody is down home and these up.
Nah, you know what I mean? They're going to universities all over the world. Accredited universities. Worldwide, world standard accredited universities. Purchase these courses for tons of money.
Yes, indeed.
And they turn and say, you know what? We are not charging Barbadians anything.
Let me get these Barbadians for free.
We are educating Barbadians for free. Man, big ups the NT for that. Drop the hot bomb for that.
Again.
Drop the hot bomb for that. You got Lord, man.
Big ups to the NTI for sure.
I want to crazy, like NT is such a great help for community persons like myself, or persons that doing much more than I'm doing. So since I'm one, your community know wherever you live, Scott, wherever you live, these persons will say listening. And you got like 7 or 8 of them that's probably lying around you.
Yeah.
Or probably come by the pavilion. Or probably play basketball or cricket or road tennis for the evening. You could tell them a free course they want me to do just a little 20 minutes on it. Before we go and work exercise, before we go and do whatever. We get 7 or 8 of them, gather them, because no Wi-Fi or data charges,
Yeah, you can use it from your phone
without
even having Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no Wi-Fi or data charge, So watch it now. So this program you can undertake, you can say, well, you want to do money management. It even get more complex. On the plane, let me see, you want to do AI.
AI, yes.
Or you want to do virtual reality.
Right.
You want to learn to create things. Let me say no. Hey, if you kind of step further down, because you're looking at me, because you think that you're playing. Let me say you got 10 of your youngsters in whatever program you got going on in the community, and they love video games. The mother can't get to start from playing video games, Scott.
Right.
It is the problem. They want to do the schoolwork. They want to play video
Always
games.
gaming.
And you just making these people rich. Just wasting games. Here what's going on. We could teach you how to make video games.
How to create your own game and make money.
Say that again, Scott.
And make money from making your own game.
You know what I mean? Because like any day we could talk sweet, but you have to make what, Scott?
Money.
You know what I mean? That's
if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense for you.
Face at me, you know what I mean? You two up in front of the NTI, that's the truth.
They know we talking the truth.
You know what I mean? I want to learn to make video games. I ain't want my little man, 15 years old, big up guitar come here, just playing video game all the time. You know, spend $800 in DS and all different canteens and PS and all canteens. No, I want you to learn to
smoking like a true parent, Sluggy.
No, what I mean? And then, if I want to carry a step further, I didn't want to learn to do coding.
That is a big money area right there.
Listen
right
to me, and it is user friendly for everyone. What
now.
we want to do is introduce our next guest,
Oh,
and they
wow.
want you to understand why transformation is imperative. And look at me, and everyone that's locked on, tune into 95.3 now, or visit the NTI or Hot 95.3 IG pages. Everyone that's locked on to me right now, visit the NTI on IG Live right now, or tune into Hot 95.3 of Scott Rock. And that's what we're doing it. But here we're going on, Scott. I want to introduce our next guest.
Well, we have a
Because
big
we can
one.
have a deep conversation on why transformation is important, why taking away prejudice is important, why breaking down barriers and kicking down doors and stomping through is important, and why persons like her must be celebrated at all times until it becomes normal.
Normal.
Until it becomes
Indeed.
what, Scott?
Normal.
Go ahead.
All right, like I said, we have a big one in studio today. Her name is Janeil Odle, currently the president of the National United Society of the Blind Barbados and the first blind attorney at law in Barbados. Let me read that part again. I'm the first blind attorney at law in Barbados. She graduated with the highest GPA in the law faculty of the University of the West Indies Cape campus, where she earned her bachelor's degree in law in 2014. She also holds a legal education certificate from the Hugh Wooden Law School and a master's in public law from the University of the West Indies. Janeil has been a disabilities advocate for over 10 years. She represents the Barbados Bar Association on the national committee to monitor the rights of persons with disabilities. She also sat as a member of the National Advisory Committee to guide the establishment of a commission to improve the lives of persons with disabilities, which had the mandate to propose policy, legislation, and guidelines for a commission for persons with disabilities. Janeil is a mother and motivational speaker who enjoys reading in her free time. She is very passionate about equality and lives by the motto, where there's a will, there's a way.
Bang, bang, bang. Get him the name again, please.
Janeil Odle.
Don't you forget it. Janeil
Remember
Odle,
it,
man.
write it down.
I need to understand that Janeil is family to, one of the top men in our landscape. Used to work here at Starcom. Also a DJ Kashi. Is that true? Am I telling the truth?
Yes, please.
Good.
Good evening.
I talk money business. What does mean?
What's up for a bit of love right now?
Oh, good. Oh, good. Big Scott, you knew that?
I did not.
Oh, right.
I learned something.
Yeah, me too, because I went film today.
Well,
So both of us, a bigger DJ Cash on the outside,
Yeah,
locked
big
on
up
for
Cashy.
sure. They support everything they do from beginning, every single project. Scott.
a good man, boy. Big up Kashi for
Yeah,
real.
Cashy support projects that I've done before, similarly. So big ups to Cashy. We'll catch you here, Janeil. I gotta ask you first. Are you okay?
I am fine.
Everything good?
I should think so.
How was your day?
It was a good day.
Oh, it was a great day.
I was a bit hot, but it's a good
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
So
let's see.
let's see.
Send me the guy for the AC inside there.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we can provide that. I saw here Scott. So I ain't see a time like they here. Scott said a mother and a motivational speaker together. What do you mean?
Together, but-
Listen, that's crazy. That's all like so much word. Like, Scott,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to church on sometimes, like today my little man out there, we go your one day. But like got me church full time, I think being a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
So you can't fake being a motivational speaker, no. You
Nah.
can't drag.
Living that
Yeah.
to be doing that.
You have to be any times in parenthood, man, where you have to go and perform your motivational speaking duties equally. Like you might be having a tough day. How do you pull yourself out of those things if you ever have a tough day? You always have the motivation. The motivation is always there.
I don't. I can tell you that.
You want to be honest for air.
Most days I'm more exhausted and then I have energy. I really don't have energy most days. But most of the time I like to listen to my music. I love soca. So let's listen to
You're really
soca.
related to Kashi.
Yeah. Scott, wait. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry. You bought me here. Be here, Scott. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I love my soca. I listen to some soca to help pump up my energy sometimes. Or sometimes I'll just sit down and reflect on how far I've come over the years. And then it helps to give me the energy to propel me a little further ahead, But it's not every day I'm gonna feel like getting up and moving forward. That is a fact. But I try.
Hey, Belle, all you could do is trade, you know, and once you trade, that's the first step.
Exactly.
Because sometimes training will help pull you back into that space, you know, to do it. Now, so that you studied law. Why did you decide to take on such a massive undertaking? Because you know, law is a law. At least for me, probably might be down secret.
Yeah, that's a big subject. To most people, that's a huge area of study.
because, you
for
know,
real.
like just doing law on a brief scale for 6 months.
Mhm.
But I was doing it every day for 6 months. You know what I mean? It had to be a police.
Right, yeah.
Like, you know, before it was a Rasta man, I was an officer.
He was an officer of the law.
So studying law, right? It's so much, and it wasn't anything close to what you did, but it's so much writing and studying cases from before. Why do you decide to take on such a massive undertaking?
Well, when I started law, I did not know how much work it was going to entail. But what I did know is that from my own life story, too many times we are put down in every sector, you know? Refuse simple things like equal education, equal access to healthcare, equal employment. And I just wanted to be in a field where I could advocate for the rights of persons, all marginalized persons, so that we can promote equality and fight for the rights of everybody. So that's what led me to law.
So, in hearing that, Janeil, like, it must be on its score, right? In hearing that, it's something you taking on two things at the same time, where you looking to break down barriers, kick down doors, but still the academic side of it had to be equal. Were you aware of how tough two of those was going to be at the time? And when did it hit you? Was it in the middle of doing law? Was it towards the end? When did it hit you? Whoa, this is a lot I'm taking.
Every exam season.
Exam is crazy.
Every time we come around, like, where would I get myself into?
Why did they do this to me?
Exactly. I really had to do this. I could just sit at home and just lie down and do nothing. Like, no, I had to be ambitious. No. So, of course, I could tell you, law is not easy. Anybody knows that law is not easy. It is very difficult. It's a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights and stuff like that. But I had a lot of people in my corner telling me, you know, you got this. You got this. There is nothing that other people can do that you can't do. So just put your mind to it and you got this.
I love how you said there's nothing that other people can do that you can't do, because it was just about to say being blind probably added not probably, but added a whole other dimension to the whole undertaking.
You're not keeping me here all evening.
No, but tell us a little bit about it. Like, Sluggy mentioned having to do a lot of reading and finding these cases and going through them. How did you get that part accomplished?
Yeah.
Funny enough.
And take your time.
We got time, yes.
For you especially.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
Law school and UV, I would say, was pretty accessible. Going through secondary school and stuff was very difficult because, you know, getting access to books was extremely difficult. My brother and my father had to be up a lot of nights reading to me so I could brill things out. And it used to be very hard. I remember many times my brother would actually sit down and record things so I could have them in advance. But when I got to law school, when I got to UE, they had this paperless policy, which came in the right time for me, because that meant that all the worksheets and stuff would be online. So using my accessible devices, just like a normal computer with voiceover or
text-to-speech.
Text-to-speech programs, I could read the different worksheets. I could have access to the PowerPoints. I could have access to the books. So that came in perfect time for me. So as it relates to accessibility in that way, it wasn't too bad. Administratively, now, when I went to law school, it was a bit difficult because certain things they could not understand. I guess they felt that, well, I got a computer, what else I need? But they didn't understand that when I have assignments and I write down the feedback on the papers, I cannot read it back.
Right.
They didn't understand that because I'm using the text-to-speech program and I have to navigate everything by ear, I'm going to need extra time in exams. So I had to be constantly pleading and begging and putting up a case for why I need these different things in place. And that is another level of stress when you're already dealing with stress from studying.
Did they accommodate you though? You were like a pioneer.
Well, I guess I had to learn to pick my own battles.
Right.
because there are certain
Sure.
things that I had to make sure that I get in place in the extra time and to make sure that they put the exams on flash drives. But then there are other things that they weren't budging with, like having the feedback and stuff off the paper or have somebody write to me. So it was difficult. I had to be depending a lot on my friends too to do some reading and stuff for me because there were some things that they weren't budging on. So I'm just hoping that we get to a place soon for now that persons understand that inclusion is not only having persons included in the schools, but there is also a thing called equity. Whereas you need to put things in place to make sure that that person gets what they need to be included.
A balanced playing field, so to speak.
Exactly.
I heard you mention those two big F words, family and friends, a good few times.
Yes.
How important are they? And
I can tell you, a support team is very, 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 very important because even something as simple as going out walking on the street, we are faced with discrimination in everywhere we go. When we go to the supermarket, we go to a restaurant, people will talk to the person with us instead of talking to us. What she want? I could go into a fact and I can hear her be, what she doing here? Or I could go set up an interview and the employers will ask something like, we can't cater to you, like how you need this work? So obviously, most often than not, I am frustrated, upset.
This is you speaking in present tense.
Yes, it still happens. It still happens. So a support team is very important because they keep me grounded. Help me to remember who I am, that I am not alone in this journey, and that I can achieve what I want to achieve. So
yeah, I want to hit deep, Sluggy.
Yeah, like on a real dog, on a real Scott. Probably not.
You call me dog, it's okay.
No, but that my friend, we got me brethren in real, like, so we can't understand, you know what I mean? But on a real, like, hearing you say speaking as though it's still happening, then they try to confirm if it's present. And you saying definitively yes, it is still happening. Like, it's like with all the technology we have and all the alerts and bulletins and broadcasts and news bulletins and everything that we have going on in terms of the social media, Janeil, where you know about the prejudice, you can hear about it. No one at no workplace or in any authority or even the average person can still be aware of certain things as it relates to person with disabilities. If you understand me, and you can bring it to say, it's too much. You understand me? It's scared about it too much. You know what I mean? And I'm sure this is the first platform you were on.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And I saw, I heard Scott Redmond, you were an activist for over 10 years now, right? So, and then you won't be the only person. Then there's so many famous persons as well. How can we still be in this position? And what do you think we need to do to get away from this position?
What I believe.
But I know more to do. You know what I mean? Being honest, not quite putting number one station. They got platforms that huge. They talk huge, use every platform, and you saying no, it's still happening. And they thought they popular, and then they think that Scott real popular, and you're the first person.
Hey, message still not being heard.
You're the first person with these disabilities, and there are not going to be much persons with more reach than us. Like, just being honest, you could check the numbers, it's fast, ain't more people more reach than us, and you're saying it's still happening. What must we do to get the name out there, and what steps you think we need to take that we're not seriously taking?
Well, policies, legislation, we need to start from nursery schools. We need to start inclusion and equity from nursery schools so that persons with disabilities are in every sector, in every area. So wherever you look, you realize that person with disability is included. When you include us, then you realize that we are capable too. And when you start us in the primary school, the nursery school, we go in secondary school, we get the equal education, and we're also equal on the job market. So we can also have jobs. We can be out there in the social areas too. So I believe that it starts with those policies and laws, and it starts in the educational system.
No, I like when you said start from as early as nursery school, and then implementing certain things there because automatically they start thinking, well, if we start doing it from there and let me use education, because the way we educate the children, the way we socialize the children, everything, just include it all in everything, and they spoke about policy making, so make it policy where you have to include these persons, and if you do it from there, from the groundwork, from the foundation, from nursery, it can become normal afterwards.
Exactly.
So if because I'll be thinking that if we was doing that for the last 10 years, but it would have been normal.
It wouldn't be normal.
Because if you got a 5-year-old, that 5-year-old know 15.
Exactly.
So that's all he know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Dealing with this and having this inclusion, you know what I mean? A 7-year-old or 8-year-old is no 18.
When you put it like that, I can see it in a whole different light, because it seems like we always cast people aside.
I was saying,
Like saying wrong with you, so over there, go to that particular school. You can't come to this school because
Exactly.
you know what I mean? I was say what Scott say.
but that's what it is though.
We still have parents and the children like, oh yeah, she look right. She look weird, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Still. You know what I mean? So Janeil let me spoke about policy because that's important, because policy helps to shape the framework. You know, because if we have certain policies going on in terms of the education sector, in the workforce as well, and in the laws, you have like policy and laws surrounding these things,
exactly.
then it will force persons to,
At a certain way.
you get me? Right, you know what I mean? To see how it is to be elementary, because you finish your sentences. No, because for me it's totally elementary, you know what I mean? And
it's black and white though. For
if we put in the work with these more 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds in a short little 10-year, you know what I mean? A short little 10-year Scott, they can be men and women not here, so they can be adults, and then they are who going to be the parents.
Exactly.
So if we can sacrifice 10 years, no, yeah, but what can happen to these next generation of parents, you know, can see these things as normal. You know, because whether we like it or not, they will get children.
They will.
You know what I mean? We'll get children. And if you don't do it, then we can just keep repeating these people that don't understand.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of things, Janeil, that I learned while being here. You know what I mean? Like being here on radio, speaking to persons with disabilities, and then hearing you speak about persons will see you. Well, not you. Person see person with disability or someone that's blind, right? And then speak to the person that they're with. And being blind don't mean that you're deaf.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can hear you talking on me like, bro, I'm right here though.
But you can understand. I cannot, and I'm half blind, but I'm not blind.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I can't fathom being able to hear perfect and someone talking that I'm not there. You understand me, Janeil? How do you deal with things like that? Do you speak to the person, or do you just try to ignore it and wait to get on a bigger platform where you can explain how it is felt? Because I want you to speak to Scott and about how it feels, because me, imagine me talking to Gabby, Scott playing a good shift, you know, and like Scott played do it bad later, and it's all to Gabby and Scott
right here, literally 10 feet away, huh?
That's like I want you to explain to us, right, how that is feel and why things like that is damaging, why we need to stop it. But I can't imagine feeling sorry.
We are persons too. So obviously it is disrespectful. It is very disrespectful. Imagine I went to the doctor today and the nurse came and said, "Madam, what she's here for?" And excuse me, I paid for this though.
Wow.
I am here. I can hear you.
I did a real story.
It's a real story.
Wow.
These things happen. And sometimes I guess it depends on, because sometimes I'm just so fed up and frustrated, and if I'm not there for a long time, I let it slide. But most of the time, I'll tell them, well, hey, I can hear you and I can't speak for myself, so speak to me. Sometimes the person will probably feel embarrassed and say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, you know? Or sometimes, in some cases, they continue doing what they were doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, no, like when you speak about being disrespectful, you know what I mean? Like being honest, true or ignorant, Scott, I can understand doing certain things. You understand? So for me now, admitting, Janeil, you know what I mean? Because that is the realest thing. Like to admit that I feel that's something I would have done in the past. You know what I mean? Like I see a blind person with someone else, through my ignorance, being raised foolish. Not my mother, father, obviously.
Right.
But your friends, don't get that. But your friends is influence nothing in life.
It's true. It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just being real.
Yeah.
So as much as they slugging, it was a leader still had a man that they love look up to, you know what I mean? Like Sheldon and Jerry and different men from Johnson that will pretty look up to, you know what I mean? Got me Bear Percy. They got men that had it. So like me know them is who should behave with Janeil, right? So you feel it saying that it will do. But then when you spoke about if you have time, you will mention it, Scott. And then in some cases the person was
Still continue.
Like you think that that person just blatantly being disrespectful, or that some of us or we saw, I don't want to term blind.
Yeah.
We saw
That's the same word that came to mind.
yeah,
just
we
now.
so narrow sighted that we can't see how damaging it is. What you feel that will happen? Because I don't want to be that person just outright disrespectful, but could that be it?
I think in some cases persons just don't know or they feel uncomfortable.
Oh, so they rather do it because to make themselves feel better than me.
Exactly. They don't know how to interact. So they just do what makes them comfortable. But at the same time, they don't realize that they're disrespecting a human being.
That's what you're saying. Because like if and let me think about it, you know what I mean? Because he's saying even if they didn't know they say no. You get me, Scott?
Yeah.
Well, that way I mean it might have been a person that stupidly done it.
Yeah, thinking I may have done it before too.
You know what I mean? But if someone explained to me, like when she explained, we both listen. You know what I mean? Like that and then you know.
Yeah, change your behavior.
Yeah, but sometimes you just gotta go against yourself, Janeil, man. You know, like you can understand. Like truly, I'm trying to be fair, Barbados. I could truly understand feeling uncomfortable speaking to someone like that. But what I can't understand is that you'll be so selfish that you don't want to feel that way, that you will ignore how the other person feel also.
After they spoke up for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different level.
You get what I mean, Janeil? Like I can understand feeling uncomfortable, and I'm sure you can because you was like you're the person like this, so you can understand. Well, I can understand that person discomfort, but then what I'm sure will baffle you is like, why that would trump everything else? You mean like you only want to feel good?
But you know what I think is needed too? I think that in a lot of sectors, especially that interact with people on a daily basis, there should be a lot more sensitivity training too. So that persons
speak on that.
Persons need to learn how to interact with persons with disabilities, how to speak to persons, and the things to do and things not to do as well. Because when you're interacting with persons on a daily basis, you are going to come in contact with a person with disability. So I believe that persons in those sort of jobs especially need to be trained in sensitivity training.
That is NTI? NTI, like that's like no, that's
That could be a course. I can see it happening.
you know what I mean, and like that's very interesting.
Yeah, so employers should make it mandatory.
You know that where my mind went. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking in workplaces and schools, whether it's primary, secondary, or tertiary education. I'm thinking that should be mandatory. Cause you don't think how long would you anticipate like sensitivity training would take? It won't take long because the insane you could just do one thing.
No.
It's you know what I'm saying? It's conversations that you will continuously have. It will be seminars that you will continuously have. Let me see you have one seminar term or you know, you understand me? For lack of a better term, it's gonna be a seminar, but you get what it means to me. Let me see we have one a term. If you have that, it's one every term, just to refresh person's memory. After a while, it'll become normal. Like you said, make it mandatory because when you spoke about learning how to speak to persons with disabilities, that's something that I feel that a lot of persons never even study.
Exactly.
I speak to normal people all the time. Someone that's differently able and normal to them. That's their mind, that's their subconscious.
To us or to them?
To them. To the person that thinking so. To me, no, like if you blame and nothing else wrong with you, like it was
You normal,
you
man.
don't talk with us.
You here with me,
Yeah,
Sluggy. You be cool though. You normal, you white man.
Yeah, but part of it could also be we might got a natural ability to talk to people.
Yeah.
Probably would be finding yourself in the careers that
We are right. You have a good point.
It could be that too, Janeil, but what you think besides speaking to other people, what you think is some of the common mistakes that we might make when speaking to persons with disabilities?
The words used to.
Yeah. We heard that one already. He said the words you use, wait.
You just can't walk up to somebody and call them retarded. Not in 2023. Words hurt too. And you were like handicapped. We gonna pass that ever since. So when you speak to persons, it's a big thing when the words you use. You can say some persons prefer to say persons with disabilities because you put the person first.
Yeah. When you speak about handicap, right? Yeah, you hear that word from
Exactly.
that way you hear to see handicap parking and all that, you know what I mean? Like I hear that word because handicap used to be equated to being invalid.
Exactly. You can
We used to use we do use those words, you know, in being parlance. Interchangeably handicap and invalid. And that's not the case.
Well, because you have a disability doesn't mean that you're incapable.
Right, you're not.
Disability is not inability.
Exactly.
I know you say you're not invalidated. So like Janeil, like no, you just showed me that there's a law.
It feels like we have a lot of work to put things to do.
Like it being where you understand, this is just a short conversation. This is just me answering you honest questions over my head, and you just answering them honestly. You understand, and it seems like we have a lot to learn because you cover things like implementing certain policies that will help us all get to some form of normalcy.
I also found it very interesting that she mentioned at UE level it wasn't very difficult for her to learn.
Great.
But in secondary school, it was a huge challenge. That's a big point there. You know?
Like you understand, Scott, and like those are things, Janeil, that really need to look at. Like Scott mentioned, we spoke about secondary school, and no matter which school it is, like that's a problem that we must address.
We
Not
have
that
to.
like we can't afford another day to go and we don't look at addressing a problem like that because we all may not have the perseverance that you have.
It's true. Some people might just get fed up, frustrated, and be done.
You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be for only who real strong and real tough. It should be made as easy as possible.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, you
Equality and
If you want-
inclusion, fam.
Yeah, you're right.
And the thing is, it's not only about persons who may be blind or have physical disabilities or persons with learning disabilities. Are simple things may be able to help them too. Having the books or something in a readable, friendly format or something, you know, might able to help them or something. Just putting a book in front of students that's so yesteryear now. We need to adjust to a way of teaching that can embrace different learning styles too.
Like, listen to me, right? We come brain again now.
So you only got 30 seconds. We better hold on that break.
NTI.org.bb, the website is fully accessible.
Yes, everybody can
Yes,
go on
Donna.
there.
The website is fully accessible. NTI.org.bb, the website is fully accessible. But Scott can throw this year, Janeil, and we're gonna let you end the show before you say goodbye to Scott. But my final words, when you just spoke about person with have a learning disability, I've never studied someone with a disability that might have a learning disability. I've never put two of them in my brain at the same time in my life. I'm now thinking about how difficult it might be to have a disability.
And have a learning disability.
Imagine that you might have a learning disability as well because it's quite possible. And now put you two together, like Janeil just, gone, man. You know what I mean? Like that's law, there's a law where it's called policy though. Many certain
That's where it
policies.
starts right there.
And making some things mandatory, Janeil, before you go. Remember people to visit NTI.org.bb for over 5,000 free courses, Janeil. Before you go, what are at least three things you would like to see us, and when I say us and me collectively, as a community, as a country, as a government, as powerful influential person, what are at least three things you would like to see us do yesterday?
Well, one is the policy and legislation. Two is a change in the mentality and mindset. So persons, realize that everybody, we're equal. And we may just need a couple things in place to give us the same advantage as other persons. And three, I want to see more inclusion in every sector.
Nice, I love that. And talking about inclusion, you see inclusive leadership, the power of workplace diversity. Love that. This course is absolutely free. This is our week's featured course, and this course is approximately 21 hours to complete. And like Scott always said, it'll be much shorter. And when Scott said that last week, get 2 texts, 2 WhatsApp messages saying that well, dang things look real here. The course is shorter than that.
Real short.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Look, when a break show off, go down. You know what I mean? 21 hours for people like Sluggy. 13 or 14 hours for people like Janeil and Scott. You know what I mean? But they also want to at least all weekend it free.
It's
You
free.
know what I mean? Beginner level offered by University of Colorado. You know, which is beautiful. And this course will empower and equip you to develop inclusive cultures where everyone feels valued and respected. Is for current and aspiring leaders of any type in the workplace, any leadership role, whether you're a CEO of a corporation, a head of a department, a manager of a workplace, even a team leader, you know, or the chair of a committee, you know, simple things like that, and which is things you could put together at home in your little groups as well. This course will help you with that. You will learn how the inclusive leaders from around the world interact effectively with individuals from a wide variety of backgrounds. You will deepen your understanding of the benefits of diversity, and you will explore love for perspectives and practices to help you reap those benefits. Remember, it's beginner level and 21 hours to complete. University of Colorado. The top review, Scott, is excellent course for increasing your knowledge towards understanding about personal prejudice and bias. Ooh, you know what I mean with that quick? Personal prejudice and bias. when they mention that, what brain comes to your brain? Especially as an activist, personal prejudice and bias.
Persons generally think that because if they were in my position, they can't do something that we can't do it too. So that's why we're excluded in a lot of times. And I think it's important that persons would do this course, especially to learn how to include persons. It's not only persons with disabilities, you know, it's everybody.
Yes.
Everybody can be
Yes.
included because you can't let your own personal beliefs and your own opinions stop you from, you know, developing your workplace, developing your country or something like that. So everybody has a part to play.
Wow.
I ain't saying that.
Let me just end it there, Sluggy. Thank you so much, Janeil. That was brilliant. All right. Sluggy, make it yourself next week again.
Manners!
With very big John, with the knowledge and skill.
You know, I love it. I love it. Girl,
Let it not know what's that.
girl, I don't curse on that, so you know. No, since I worked my radio about 5 years ago, I don't say no curse words down there, so that in my private life, some of this one here, I ain't gonna hold up more shit. You know what I mean? So I start doing that. If I tell myself, I did 5 years ago, see me? I say, you put here, you gonna be, nah, you want to be comfortable with me?